All right, what's going on, guys? We're back with another Dokkan Battle video, and today I kind of want to talk about some stuff that I saw floating around on X, Twitter, or whatever the hell you want to call it nowadays. So there was this post from Rick just the other day that he was talking about the possibility of the Tanabata celebration actually starting on August 29th. Vice, like we're all like kind of thinking about like the 6th based off of the fan meetup thing that they're doing, right? So Dokkan had this fan meetup thing that they sent out, like 150 participants are gonna be able to go to. It sounds a lot like the 10th anniversary fan meetup thing. Presumably they're doing this just because the LA one got canceled, right? Because of the LA fires that were going on during the 10th anniversary. They're supposed to have one in Japan. They're supposed to have one in the US. So I believe that this is just kind of making that up. But this is also a great time and place for them to do something with one of these other bigger celebrations, right? They didn't do it with the Global Dokkan campaign because Global Dokkan campaign is basically wrapping up at this point. So it leads us to believe this is going to be for Tanabata, right? Because Tanabata is supposed to be in September. So the new schedule that came out shows us here that the anniversary, the typical JP anniversary, is now the Dokkan Supreme Celebration that takes place in January, February. Then we move into what was the global anniversary, now mixed together, or fused, if you will, for all my Dragon Ball fans, with the worldwide celebration campaign into the global Dokkan campaign, right? And that's what we're just kind of finishing up here, going July through August. During the time that Global was typically having their anniversary, JP was going through a Tanabata campaign. Now, Tanabata is like a major holiday thing in Japan. I don't know too much about it, but I just know that it's the time that they celebrate. So that's why it's named after this. Now that, because of the merge of the global anniversary and the worldwide campaign, they are moving the old Tanabata celebration to a different time slot under the new name, which they have not revealed just yet. And this is supposed to take place between September to October. So, because it says September, and because the fan meetup is taking place on the 6th, which is a Saturday, it makes us all kind of believe that maybe this campaign is starting on like the 6th or the 8th of September, right? Because we maybe on the 6th at the fan meetup, they're going to show like what the campaign is. They're going to show the new characters. They're going to show maybe some animations, show some card arts, things like that for all the part 1 stuff, and just kind of go over, what to expect from this new campaign itself. Now, there's some evidence that it might actually start technically sooner than September or September 6th, right? So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. So take it with a grain of salt, right? Everything is speculatory until Dokkan literally comes out and says, yep, that's the way it is, right? And you can go off every pattern, every bit of evidence, every little data mine thing, and then still they can pull the rug from under you and be like, nah, dude, we're psych, we're moving it. So looking at this tweet from Rick here, Rick is a very, very, very reliable source within the Dokkan community, one of the big data miners. So pretty much, I don't want to say everything he says we kind of take as gospel, but I mean, damn near. He's usually pretty right on a lot of this stuff here. So shout out to him for coming up with this and taking the time to really kind of break this down, because at the end of the day, right or wrong, this was amazing, and he did a great job. So if you look at this here, so he says, I think the celebration will start on August 29th. Unlike the GDC, I think that by September, they're just talking about when most of the celebration will take place. And he has an explanation evidence below. So if we think the 29th, right, we look back at past worldwide celebrations. Because if you look back here, the worldwide celebration took place in September to October in place of where this new campaign is going to be. However, the old worldwide units they all dropped like the 28th, right? So that's last year. They dropped the 28th. I believe the year before was probably the 29th. So September can be put in quotes for sure. And the 29th seems very, very possible for them to drop new characters and new content just because of the way that the timeline kind of adds up here. Like if we look back to, actually, let's pull him up right now. When exactly did you drop? So you dropped on the 7th, right? So that's been what, over a week now? Like a week in like 2 days. So typically a lot of these banners drop every 2 weeks. Now we are getting the Pepe Gale banner on the 18th, which is a little under 2 weeks, but that's not really like a celebration. That's kind of like a filler thing. So I don't know if that's going to, you know, fully fill that gap. And it could, I mean, just for like a week. But then if we go into like the week of the 25th and you have the 29th on that Friday, it's very possible that they could drop the Tanabata Part 1 stuff on the 29th. Now, of course, this could also point towards a countdown campaign, right? I'll preface that right now, too. It could just be a countdown campaign, because if you go the 29th and then you go about a week later, that's the 5th. That kind of lines up with a lot of the other stuff, you know, going from the 5th and into the 6th, and then kind of like rolling through everything here in September. But if we look at what he's got here down below, and he did put a lot of work into this. So first off, he talks about the Elder Kai banners here, which is usually a pretty big indicator of when stuff is going to be changing up, or when new characters are going to be dropping, or things are going to be starting. So he said, while it's true the Elder Kai banner dates aren't as accurate as before, that usually applies to the ones in the middle of the month. The ones that correspond to Dokkan Fest are almost always accurate, and they're never off by more than 1 or 2 days. Now, if we look at the timing, the 29th of August. Yeah, I mean, it could be nothing, because some of the Elder Kai banners have been off. He's very right. They're not as accurate as they were. But typically, I mean, they're pretty damn close. And this is the 29th, way closer than the 6th or the 8th of September, right? So, you know, that's one kind of clue right there. He goes on to say, in 2025, most of the sales have ended 1 to 3 days before the next banner. The only exception was the sale before the 10th anniversary, which ended when the 10-day countdown started. Sales before GDC ended only 3 days before GDC started. So these end on the 26th. If you think 3 more days, you've got the 29th, right? So very well, this could point to that as well. And yeah, I mean, he even mentions in here, it started before a 10-day countdown campaign was the possibility from the 10th anniversary. Now, Tanabata is not going to be as big of a celebration as the anniversary or the Global Dokkan campaign, right? That's even something they stated in here, was anniversary size campaigns twice a year. Twice a year. We've done that. Now, this is not an anniversary size campaign. It's still going to be a bigger campaign, but it's not going to be anniversary size. It's not going to be as big as the 10th anniversary. It's not going to be as crazy as the GDC was. We're looking at, you know, 2 LRs, probably a Dokkan Fest, and then either a, you know, Yellow Coin LR or Carnival LR. Typically, it's a Dokkan Fest LR and a Carnival LR. So, looking at 2 instead of like 6 and 5. But yeah, I mean, this could point towards the start of the countdown, right? Like I said, the 29th being the start of the countdown. If you go like 10 days, that'll put us at what? I mean, right around the 8th, really. So, it very well could, you know, just be a countdown. We move here in past celebrations. Memorial Stone calculation period has usually ended 7 days before they are distributed. So I think the celebration and banner will start on the 29th. Now, this is another big one. This is very good. This is very deep dive stuff right here. Yeah, so I mean, we got the announcement for the Memorial Stones, right? That they're the distribution period, or not the distribution period, but the counting period is going to end on the 21st. And it talks about them being there for a campaign starting in September. So if this is accurate, right? So usually ended 7 days before they're distributed, you know, and then the celebration, the banner, the 29th. Now, again, it could just be part of a countdown, right? Maybe they'll release the Memorial Stone stuff during the countdown this year. You know, maybe maybe the celebration starts on the 29th and the banners don't come out for another week. That would be horrendous, and I'm not at all saying that that's what's going to happen, because that would be miserable, and I think everybody would be pissed. But, you know, this could be something for a countdown. This could just mean that this whole celebration starts on the 29th. And then the other thing we got here is also they can show anything here, and talking about the Community Fest, the fan meetup. It could be could just be a part to Carnival LR art, for example, or since we don't know if the special stage will be streamed yet, it could be a presentation meant for people at the venue to show new features, modes available for the demo play, right? Because they did talk about a demo play. So that was a big thing here that a lot of people are thinking could be like, oh, they're going to show the new characters, they're going to do this. Well, they very well could, and that was the original thought. It could also just be maybe they're implementing a new game mode, maybe they're testing some different updates, and they're going to allow, you know, the fans at this meetup to test this stuff out and see what the reaction is, the initial reaction, before they actually launch it. So it could be that this has nothing to do with the Part 1 LRs, that we could be, you know, a week into this campaign already by the time this starts, and that's very likely. I mean, it is very, very likely, and it's very possible. I'm still on the side that I don't know, man. This is very good evidence to think that it could be starting the 29th, especially when you look at past like worldwide celebrations in the same time slot. And if they want to keep like everything as close to the original JP timeline as they can, while already kind of shaking things up here with like the GDC and how the anniversary went, they're gonna have to get back on track somewhere, and it could be here, right? Get back in line with it. 29th, everything kind of everything starts flowing through, and it would just make sense. And I mean, they could fucking start it the 29th and then make the banners drop on the 1st, like if they really wanted to, and then say, oh, there you go, it's September. But yeah, so very good evidence here, very good digging by Rick, and I actually really enjoyed looking at this and reading through this and thinking about it, because it's very, very cool. On the note of this, with him talking about the Part 2 carnivals possibly being revealed here, you know, if we look at like Part 2 stuff for last year, they dropped on the 13th. Not you, you're new. They dropped on the 13th, right? So I mean, it could, but that would seem that's like a week early for them to be showing like LR arts for Part 2. I think that's a bit of a stretch. I think this could just be, you know, they're going to talk about the campaign. If the campaign's already started on the 29th, this will just be like a demo play thing. This will be just kind of getting everybody together, maybe giving out some goodies, talking a little bit more about the campaign and what to expect as we move forward. Or our original assumption could be right, and this could be where they initially reveal everything, and, you know, the banners come out on like the 8th of September. You know, it's possible. Anything is possible with Dokkan. Don't ever feel like you've got it figured out, because they can quickly flip the switch and prove you that you know absolutely nothing. But nevertheless, this was very awesome, and I wanted to definitely take the time to highlight this, let you guys know kind of what I'm seeing, and definitely throw a big shout out to Rick here for taking the time to do all this stuff. I doubt he watches these videos, but if in case he does, or in case you guys ever reach out to him or anything, let him know that he's doing a great job, and we appreciate everything that he does. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for the video today. So if you guys stuck around to the end, I appreciate you, and thanks for hanging out with me. You know I love speculation. It's my favorite part. So if you guys have any questions about this, let me know. If you guys want me to go into detail about anything else, let me know. If you guys have your own ideas, let me know. Right? I love hearing everybody's ideas and everybody's thoughts on this stuff. So Let me know down below what you guys are thinking. Like, subscribe, do the thing, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya!